How's it going, guys? Vaibhav here and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the Realme X3 SuperZoom as well as the Realme X3 Pro, two of the flagship smartphones we expect from Realme this year. So it's pretty interesting because I heard about the Realme X3 SuperZoom quite a while back, sometime in April. I didn't really think much of it, but come May, we've started to see so many rumors about the phone. And this first leak actually comes from Sudhanshu, which we want to talk about, which says that the phone will have a 4200 mAh battery and 30-watt fast charging support. So already we start to see some reminiscence of a flagship smartphone device. We don't know much about the screen, but I think it's going to be an AMOLED panel. It's going to be around the 6 to 6.5 inch size, and it's probably going to have a 90 Hz refresh rate. I can only assure you that much. I don't think it's going to have a 120 Hz refresh rate, but we might be surprised. Now, the second leak actually came on May the 7th, and he basically confirmed that the Realme X3 SuperZoom will support up to 60 times zoom on its camera with its periscope lens, and will come with a starry mode feature, something like we see on the Pixel 4. Now, this is very interesting because for a phone like this to have a feature like this is quite an interesting thought. But then Vaibhav, who is the CEO of Realme Mobiles, actually confirmed this. So he said that he's using 60x zoom and starry mode on the Realme X3 in this photo. And if you have a look at this photo, it looks pretty incredible given the fact that it's from a smartphone. So right, we can see at the bottom, shot on the Realme X3 SuperZoom 60x. So I guess all of this is pointing towards a very robust camera unit on the X3 SuperZoom edition. But how does that really translate to the X3 Pro? Well, let me just confirm the specifications of the X3 SuperZoom before moving on. So according to this leaked benchmark around April 6th, which I said was around last month, it basically confirmed the specifications of this phone. So the MSM Nile motherboard basically corresponds to the Snapdragon 855 Plus processor from Qualcomm, and that basically means this phone from Realme might be a true contender when it comes to flagships, not the highest end, so not going to be the 865, it won't have 5G support, but I think it'll have enough flagship power to, carry its weight and also have a great camera composition. Now, speaking of the camera, it's pretty interesting to see because if we go over to Key-Mobile, who, covers cell phones, tablets, televisions, etc., they said that the camera on the Realme X3 SuperZoom is a Samsung Bright S5K HMX of 108 megapixels. So that's something we aren't yet sure of, but if we actually go and look at this picture once again, it wouldn't be a surprise to see if the camera on this phone has a 108 megapixel sensor, because if the zoom lens is capable of so much, I think the 108 megapixel sensor, which I don't think will be the periscope lens, I think we're far off that, but definitely if it wants to sell itself when it comes to the camera, I think it's going to have high-end specifications, something like the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, for example, or the recently announced Xiaomi Mi 10. So maybe this phone wants to compete with the likes of those smartphones by undercutting them when it comes to specifications without the 5G support. And I think that's a smart move from Realme. If they could price this phone for maybe around the 35,000 rupee mark, this could be a huge sell. And we're going to do a live comparison or a live conversion in just a bit, but let's actually get to the last thing I want to talk about, which is the Realme X3 Pro. Now, this is a recent Antutu benchmark score, which seems to be from the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 processor, but if we know the Realme SuperZoom phone only has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 Plus processor, which means this is from another phone, and this could either be the gaming phone from Realme that I talked about a couple of days ago, or it could be the Realme X3 Pro. So as you can see, it scores around 600,000 in the benchmark, which corresponds to a high-end flagship chipset. So this could be why I'm thinking the X3 Pro offers the highest end specifications, not so much when it comes to the camera, but still enough to, sway the audience to prefer that over competition. And maybe because it doesn't offer so much for the camera, it could still undercut the competition in price when it comes to pricing, because I think Realme's strategy for the most amount of time now has been to undercut its competition when it comes to pricing, and they could do that with both of these smartphones and really make a name for themselves in the camera sector with the X3 SuperZoom and with the performance sector in the X3 Pro, or if this is their gaming phone, in the gaming sector too. So I think that's how they can have three smartphones in general. Now, if we actually convert INR to USD and do a live conversion right here, I was saying around the 35,000 rupee mark 35,000 rupees translates to around the $463 mark. Now, for comparison, the Mi 9 sells for $49,000 in India, which is around $649. And the OnePlus sells for around $42,000, which sells for $556 converted. So if, let's say, the Realme phone is even 35,000 rupees, it could undercut the competition by a significant margin and really sway the audience towards that company, because we've started to see so many good phones from Realme and they do have a brand name for themselves. And if they can continue that, I think they're going to get a lot of audience for both of these smartphones, because this camera looks great. I'm pretty sure it's processed quite a bit, but nonetheless, if a phone can take a photo like that, it sure does have some processing power, and the processing power on the 865 is known. It's well known, 5G support, all the flagships have it, and if it can be paired with flagship specifications, maybe a 120Hz display on this thing, AMOLED quality, who knows, maybe you could see Realme make a resurgence in this territory. Because I think with the OnePlus 8 and the 8 Pro, while the 8 Pro is a really good phone, it still hasn't swayed enough people to make that purchase. And maybe Realme can identify that gap in the market and make sure they occupy it for the next few years to come. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Realme X3 series in general. What do you think the pricing of the X3 is going to be? I think the X3 is going to be a very entry-level smartphone, 765G processor, again 5G support, and it might sell for around the 25 to 30,000 rupee price tag. So yeah, that about sums up my thoughts on the SuperZoom. I do think take this image with a pinch of salt, because as good as it looks, it might not perform as well when you see it in real life. But the 108 megapixel leak right here is a bit interesting to me, so I'll wait and see what Realme can deliver. I don't know when this phone is going live, so who knows about that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. This was Vaibhav, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.